Imagine sitting in a television studio. Bright lights, a cheering audience, cameras rolling across the stage. Three bachelors wait behind a wall, each hoping to win a date with a young woman they've never met. One of them is charming, funny, confident. By the end of the show, he wins. But what nobody in that studio knew was that the smiling contestant had already been connected to horrific crimes. His name was Rodney Alcala, and history would remember him by another name. The 1970s were a different America. Television wasn't just entertainment. It was where families gathered every evening. Dating shows were among the country's most popular programs. Contestants laughed. Audiences cheered. Winners became overnight celebrities. But beneath the glamour of Southern California, another story was unfolding. Young women were disappearing. Investigators struggled to connect seemingly unrelated cases. They had no idea the man responsible would soon appear on national television, smiling for millions of viewers. Rodney James Alcala was born in Texas in 1943. At first glance, nothing about his early life suggested the darkness that investigators would later uncover. Friends often described him as intelligent. He was articulate, creative, charismatic. He studied art and photography, developing an eye for composition that impressed many people around him. Photography became one of his greatest passions. It also became one of his most effective tools. Show camera, old film rolls, developing photographs. Alcala frequently approached strangers, especially young women, offering free photo sessions. He presented himself as a professional photographer, someone with connections, someone who could help aspiring models. Many accepted. They believed they had met an artist. Few realized they had just encountered a predator.
In 1968, an 8-year-old girl disappeared while walking to school. Witnesses later reported seeing a man lure her away. She was eventually found alive, but severely injured. The suspect, Rodney Alcala. Before authorities could bring him to justice, he fled, show passport, bus, map. For years, he remained on the run, using different identities, moving from place to place, blending into everyday life. It wouldn't be the last time he escaped consequences. When Alcala resurfaced, he didn't appear dangerous. He looked like someone chasing a creative career. He attended film school, continued taking photographs, met countless new people, built trust quickly. Then, television producers came calling. In 1978, Rodney Alcala was selected as a contestant on one of America's most popular television dating shows. Producers saw an attractive bachelor with confidence and charisma. No one suspected they were preparing to place a serial killer on national television. Millions would soon watch him joke, smile, flirt, and eventually win. But one woman sensed something wasn't right.
The woman choosing between the three bachelors was Cheryl Bradshaw. Throughout the show, she asked playful questions, expecting equally playful answers. Rodney Alcala answered with confidence and humor. His responses entertained the audience and impressed the show's producers. By the end of the episode, Cheryl selected Rodney as the winning bachelor. Cheryl later explained that meeting Alcala in person made her deeply uncomfortable. She described him as unsettling and said she sensed something wasn't right. Trusting that instinct, she chose not to go on the date. At the time, she couldn't have known how significant that decision would become. Years later, many people would wonder the same question. Did her instinct save her life?
Millions watched Rodney Alcala smiling on television. Detectives in different states were investigating a series of disappearances and murders. Many victims were young women. Some had been approached with offers of photography sessions. Others simply vanished without warning. For years, investigators struggled to connect the crimes. Different police departments worked separate cases. Information traveled far more slowly than it does today. Without modern DNA databases or instant digital communication, patterns were easier to miss. Meanwhile, Alcala continued living what appeared to be an ordinary life. He moved freely, built trust easily, and left investigators searching for answers. But everything was about to change, because one piece of evidence would finally point investigators in the right direction. The investigation turns. As investigators revisited older cases, similarities began to emerge. Witness descriptions in on Rodney Alcala, the charming photographer who had fooled television producers, was now at the center of multiple murder investigations. But it wasn't just witness statements or forensic evidence that shocked detectives. It was what they found inside his personal belongings. Hundreds of photographs showed generic film negatives, cameras, and envelopes. Many featured women, teenagers, and children. Most appeared to have been taken by Alcala himself. Some people in the photographs were later identified. Others have never been identified. To this day, investigators have continued seeking help from the public to identify some of the individuals, hoping the images might provide answers in unsolved cases. While investigators have not concluded that every unidentified person in the photographs was a victim, the collection became one of the most haunting discoveries in the investigation. But even after his arrest, bringing Rodney Alcala to justice would take decades. Rodney Alcala was arrested and faced trial for murder, but the legal process proved long and complicated. Over the years, convictions were challenged, appeals were filed, and new trials were ordered. Families who believed justice had finally arrived were forced to relive the pain again and again. As forensic science improved, investigators revisited evidence from older cases. DNA testing, unavailable during many of the original investigations, became one of the most powerful tools in connecting Alcala to additional crimes. Each new development strengthened the case against him. Eventually, juries convicted Rodney Alcala of multiple murders. Prosecutors argued that his crimes spanned years and crossed state lines, making him one of America's most notorious serial killers. For the victims' families, however, no verdict could erase what had been taken from them. But one question still haunted investigators. How many victims were there? Even today, the full number of Rodney Alcala's victims remains uncertain. He was convicted of multiple murders, but investigators have long believed the true number could be higher. Some estimates have suggested dozens of victims, though the exact number has never been confirmed. The photographs discovered in his possession continue to raise difficult questions. Every unidentified face represents a family that may still be searching for answers. For detectives, the investigation didn't truly end with his conviction. It became a search for names, stories, and the truth behind every photograph. And then, after decades of investigations, appeals, and courtroom battles, Rodney Alcala's story finally came to an end. Rodney Alcala remained in prison for the rest of his life. In 2021, he died at the age of 77 from natural causes while in custody. His death closed one chapter of the story, but it didn't answer every question. Investigators continue to review unsolved cases. Families continue to search for closure, and some of the people photographed by Alcala have still not been identified. His case remains one of the most disturbing examples of how appearances can be deceiving. A man who appeared charming on television was living a life almost no one could imagine. The story of Rodney Alcala isn't remembered because he appeared on a television show. It's remembered because it reminds us how easily evil can hide behind an ordinary smile. Behind every headline, every courtroom, and every investigation were real people whose lives were forever changed. Their stories deserve to be remembered. If you found this documentary informative, consider subscribing for more carefully researched true crime stories based on verified facts. And if there's a case you'd like to see covered next, leave it in the comments below. Thank you for watching. In memory of the victims and their families. Subscribe for more true crime stories.